Hello, and welcome to Postcards from a Soul and Her Human. I'm the human Gina. Hello to everyone out there. It is the first day of October 2023. It is a gorgeous day, and I'm going to follow an inspiration that is going to be a little unusual. I normally, what I've come to understand when I get on this microphone, what I'm doing is I am basically transmuting information out into the world. And this is information that comes to me through my learnings and whatever that might be, or through downloads, which I've discussed before, which happens while I sleep. And I get a nudge or an inclination or an inspiration, and I am led to the microphone by that, and I record. And I often don't know what I'm going to say until I start to speak. And that's become a very comfortable way to do this for me, and one I've relied on, just knowing that what's meant to be said, I'm going to say. And even if it sounds weird or, whatever, it just is what it is. And I've gotten very comfortable with that. I'm going to do something a little bit different today, because I'm inspired to do so. And I've mentioned several times before a series of books that I've been reading by Barbara Marciniak. Barbara Marciniak is a channeler for the Pleiadian community, which is a group of beings from another star system. And, I do hesitate at times, and I've actually been warned through the tarot to be careful talking about other beings from other worlds, because it may be a turnoff. It may be difficult for people to hear. And then because they can't hear beyond that, the messages are lost. And I've gotten to the point in my learning where I can't worry about that, where this is just such an important part of it that if I don't speak about it, I'm not being my authentic self, which is the whole purpose of this microphone, is for me to express myself in the most original and unique and the authentic, genuine way in order for me to sing my whale song into the world. And I intend to do that. So if this is a little bit odd, it's meant to be, because it's meant to expand your mind and your heart and your perception, your perspective of life as a whole, which is so much more than just planet Earth and the beings that we see when we walk, the streets every day. We are a part of life, but we are not all life. And I think once you get comfortable with that, it really just allows you to be open and to receive what you particularly are meant to receive in your life for your purpose, for your mission as a soul in this realm, which we all are here on a mission of one sort or another. So because I'm more aware of why I'm here and what I'm doing, it's easier for me to kind of see it from a broad perspective and say, okay, I understand why this is happening. It's not just something that I'll look in the rearview mirror 10 years down and go, oh, I see why I did that. I'm fully aware of what I'm doing. I've been made aware of that by the support that is around me. And so I want to make sure that you understand that this is not, um, hmm, this is something that you have to just take in faith, because as humans, we're not meant to know everything, because that would ruin the whole experience. And this is something that I've learned from everything I've been exposed to lately. And it's interesting, and I want to point this out. The book that I'm going to read from, and I am going to read a chapter from one of Barbara Marciniak's book called Earth. This book was written in 1994. And it was a session or a transmission that she channeled from the Pleiadians back in 1994. Or actually, whenever that transmission took place, the book was published in 1994. And from what I understand from learning about Barbara, it took a while to compile the book. So I imagine it was written a year or two, or maybe longer before. The transmission was received before that. So it's interesting that how cohesive the information is that I'm receiving, because, or I should say exposed to. I don't want to make it sound too mystical. It's not always mystical. It's mostly not, actually. What's happening is I'm reading this book called Earth by Barbara Marciniak. And it's been sitting on my shelf for quite a while, and I've read it sporadically over the last year. And only recently have I picked it up more often. And it's, of course, by no accident that that's the case, because what I'm reading is coherent with or in line with the content that I'm viewing in the Gaia series that I've talked about before, called Ancient Civilizations. The Pleiadians play a very big role in that content as well. And so I want to make this connection for you if this is interesting to you, because of course, as a student of humanity and the cosmos now, it's very interesting to me to see where the synchronicities occur, which are everywhere these days. And this is another benefit of opening your heart to what's possible and letting go of our ideals or even our belief systems, and the paradigms that we get trapped within in order to see beyond what we've been taught or we've been exposed to, which is no one's fault. It just is. It's the nature of the beast. It is the nature of the game or the theater that we volunteered to be a part of when we came to Earth. So I don't want to cloudy the water with, anything other than that fact. There's no really mysticism here except for the synchronicities that occur when you're aware that they're occurring. They are magical, and that is truly what magic is. And so the content in Ancient Civilizations and the series that I'm watching, which is remarkable, was created or produced 17 years later in 2017, I think it was. I looked at it this morning. The first season of Ancient Civilizations was released on Gaia TV in 2017, 23 years, 23 years after the publishing of the book that I'm going to read from. And this is, of course, no mistake. I'm meant to see the connection here in order to fortify or reinforce what my body knows so my mind can be okay with it. And this is something that I've gotten very comfortable with, again, is trusting that my body knows what my brain may not yet be aware of. And it is a process, and it does happen. There's something else going on in my life, actually, due to reading the chapter that I'm going to read to you. And this is one of the reasons why I felt it important to read verbatim instead of me transmuting what I learned out to you, which is what I normally do. I feel like the words that are used in this transmission are important for you, the listener, to land however they land. So basically what I'm saying is I don't want to color what this transmission says with my translation. I want you to hear directly from Barbara Marciniak, who is channeling the Pleiadians. So it can land with you the way it's meant to. And I felt like for the first time in all the reading I've done, the first time I feel like it's important that you hear the words verbatim, and I'm going to read them to you, which is, again, a little unusual, but what I really feel is important to do. But what I'm going through is interesting, is I'm going through and why this chapter has another important layer for me is in trusting what my body knows and allowing my brain to catch up, and not allowing my brain to inhibit or be a barrier to what my body knows. So it may prevent an action in the world that my body knows I should take, but my brain is not ready to allow. And it's so interesting when going through this, and this is part of this elevation of my energy. And I can't even describe how I've been feeling. It's just this lightness and this trust, this faith that my body knows what it knows, and my mind doesn't have to be the primary contributor to information in my world, and it has taken a back seat. So this is another example of this trust in my body and letting my brain catch up when the brain catches up, which, again, I'm getting more and more comfortable with. It's become a way of life now. It is not an anomaly or something that I do occasionally. It is just how I operate now. And this is such an interesting thing to witness as an observer of all the changes I've gone through, and of course, I'm chronicling it as well. So it's so interesting to survey all of this that has happened and that continues to happen, and to see the common thread through all of it, which has become a cable an indestructible cable, which is just there, and now I see it. So I can't unsee it, and it threads everything in my life, in my world, together for me in a cohesive, coherent, sensical manner, so I can trust what I'm feeling without worrying that my brain doesn't get it yet. So what's happened while I read this chapter? Before I read this chapter, I do my morning exercises, and I do a really quick meditation on a crystal, and a piece of wood, which have just become kind of, for me, my heart, a way for me to channel what I'm meant to know for the day. Excuse me. Is I'm going through kind of a conundrum. I was listening to an interview with Barbara Marciniak, a very old interview. It must have been back in the early 90s, I think, because she was referring to 2012 as a very important decade. And the interview was on Gaia TV. I think it's Conscious Conversations is the series. If you're interested, Barbara Marciniak, I don't remember what season or episode, but you can Google that. It was very interesting to listen to her speak, not channel, but speak as a human being who's been affected by the Pleiadians and their teachings. And I always try to find what I can glean from whatever I hear. And if something resonates, and when it resonates, it stays with me. So it enters my body on a frequency that my body is currently emanating. And then because of that, it easily goes in, it becomes part of my consciousness, and it becomes something that I become thoughtful about or I contemplate. And this is how all of it works. And I could not articulate this before, but now I understand. It is my frequency. It is a way that I vibrate that attracts the information to my body. So it makes so much sense that when when our frequency is low, or in the three-dimensional, or in our learning, or our dark phase, or our darkness, which is when we're still being challenged by our life, and we still have to choose to learn or to continue to be challenged, that frequency invites those challenges. That was a different part of that was a different me. That was a different version of me. I've evolved to this other version now, who the frequency I vibrate within or on is attracting a completely different animal. And so this is why, once my body is cleansed of all the emotional debris and I learn to love myself, and that's the key teaching of the Pleiadians. And I don't know how much of that's going to be touched on in this chapter. That self-love is the beginning. It is the way to start the car that drives you into this incredible fantasy land. When we love ourselves, and through that self-love, we dump all the emotional debris and we become clear, we get privileged to this frequency, and on this frequency we become these receptive beings, and we learn the secrets of the universe, and the secrets of the origin of life, and the secrets of mysticism and miracles and our spiritual gifts, which I'm discovering too. And it's just remarkable. And I just want to, punctuate that before we get started. But again, what had happened, I was listening to this interview, and in this interview, she was talking about our bodies and health, and how, and I've mentioned this many times before, how we get caught up in the healthcare system and in medication, and we get trapped within it, basically. And we don't understand that the way we feel and think, and the way we love ourselves, or the lack of that, dictates our health. And we are wholly capable as energetic beings of healing ourselves. So we get trapped into dis-ease, which of course is the root of disease. And we get trapped into feeling like we need an external source to heal us. And then we get stuck in the healthcare system. One medication requires another one to counteract, and so on. I won't, again, go crazy there, although I can. I've had an aversion to healthcare, organized healthcare, since I came out of my relationship with my ex-husband. Since the day I went to the hospital for 4 hours and underwent that examination, which of course was fruitless because I went through an emotional trauma. I was going through an energetic change that had nothing to do with my physical health at the time. But what I have experienced since then is and forgive me to any healthcare workers and to any doctors or nurses or anyone in the healthcare field. My message is not meant to discount or insult. Please forgive me if that's how this comes off. But I've had a complete aversion to going to the doctor, to the dentist, or even to get my hair done. And I don't know what the connection is there, but all I can tell you is I have gone into this period of just completely going inside of myself and learning my own power. And in doing that, I don't know about the hair cutting part. That's still a little bit of a mystery. But in doing that, I have learned through what the information I've been exposed to, through this energetic upgrade that I've gone through and everything that I've experienced, that I can heal myself. And through my connection with the earth and water, the sun, and the moon, which I took my first moon bath on the harvest moon 2 nights ago. I charged my crystals in the moonlight, which is the first time I've ever done that. I'm learning so much about the lunar and the solar and the whole universe and the cosmos as my healthcare system. And it is so extraordinary when you become receptive to all of this. And I look at it as, my old life, I was on the ground looking down. And then this new life, I'm standing on the tallest mountain looking up. I can't see beneath me anymore. It's just there. I know it's there. But I'm looking up. I'm even physically looking up all the time. I'm always looking in the sky at the tops of the trees. It's just it's how I operate, it's what my body does. So in finding out that I'm this self-healing being, and I do have this weird aversion to going to a healthcare provider, and I don't. Again, it's not an insult. I don't want to insult the medical industry. It's incredibly important. I just feel that there's a lot of I don't know how to put this delicately. It's been misled, just like religion, and I think there is a lot of oh boy. It's difficult sometimes to be in this energy and not insult people, and I don't mean to do that, but if I'm speaking clearly, there's a lot of corruption, there's a lot of misuse of medication, there is a lot of misunderstanding, and there's a lot of misguidedness in healthcare. And I believe that if you're for profit, there's no getting around potential need for. I see. I'm trying to be delicate here. If something's for profit, then for profit is the purpose. So if healthcare is for profit, the patient care is not the primary goal. It is making money. And again, I don't wish to insult anyone, but I just wish for you to maybe look at that from a wider perspective, make your own choice. But basically, for me, what Barbara Marciniak said in this interview, which was just talking about herself and her own experience, she said, "I no longer have health care. I no longer carry health insurance." And then she went on to speak about how she heals in nature, how she doesn't watch TV. She hasn't from the 70s. And I'll let you listen to the interview if you want to know why, and how she has trusted these messages, and she has basically trusted the earth as her mother. And in that mother-child relationship has learned to be nurtured by the earth, as I have become to know over the last year or so, and what I've been speaking about. Really, what really stuck with me after that interview, and it was probably 20 minutes, and all that stuck with me the next day and the days following was that statement, "I don't have health care." And I'm saying to myself, she very easily could have said, "I don't go to the doctor," like I've said. But she didn't. She said, "I don't have health care." So I've been struggling with my brain, who is not agreeing with what my body knows, which is that healthcare is kind of a a frivolity, really, for me at this stage. It is not a necessity. It is a tether to my old life. And if I trust my body and what my body knows, I know that I am healed, self-healed, and that nature is my only doctor. And as long as I partake in nature, which I do every day, by standing in the river when the temperature and climate allows it, by standing on the ground every other day, by visiting the river, by meditating certain things out into nature, and by speaking to nature and connecting and communing with nature, that's how I stay healthy. And in that awareness of that connection, I eat healthier. I sleep when I need to sleep. And one of the messages I remember so clearly from the tarot over and over was, sleep when you're tired, eat when you're hungry, and forget everything else. And within that, I've always made good food choices, and I've always been a healthy person, but this has just been ramped up to another whole level. And I know that all of this combined, my self-love combined with my self-care and my communion with the earth and my connection with the cosmos and the earth and the moon and the sun and everything I'm learning about astronomy and astrology is taking me to this place of comfort, knowing that I'm in the cradle. I'm held in the cradle of this earth and the universe, and I don't need to take medication to heal. I can self-heal. That's been this experience that I've been going through. So when she said, I no longer carry health care, it wasn't immediate. It was a day or two later where I'm sitting by the river's edge and I'm thinking to myself, why is that stuck with me? And I'm remembering, if it comes in on the frequency and you resonate with it, there's a reason it needs to be examined. And here's an example of that. So my body knew instantly that I can drop healthcare. I don't need it. I haven't been to the doctor formally in years. I haven't had an OB visit in decades. Uh, I haven't even gone to the dentist. And I think one of the things about the dentist, and forgive me again, I'm not discounting the need for dental care. It's there. But this is just really an expansion of my whole understanding of health. It's every part of our body, not just the soft tissue. And I had a bad experience at the dentist 5 years ago that kept me from going back. And that has evolved into my kind of understanding that I don't need to go. And I'm not saying anything. I may need to go again. I'm not making any exclamations. If I need to go to the dentist, I'm going to the dentist. Just let that be said. But what I'm trying to get across is my teeth are healthy along with my body. And I had a lot of dental problems when I was young, and I've had I've had two, at least that I know of, unnecessary dental procedures. And I think those were not by accident. It was meant to evolve me to this place when I'm in this learning phase and I'm gathering all of this data that I can let go of the tether to the healthcare system, just like I let go of the tether to religion and I let go of the tether to God and what all that is and to my humanity, and allowed my body to rise above it and my heart and mind to rise above it and to truly experience from a cosmic perspective what the truth is. And I've been speaking it every time I get on this microphone. So because of that, I made the decision, which took several days, probably 5 or 6, to let go of my healthcare coverage because I no longer need it. I'm paying a lot of money every month for something I don't need. And now when I think about it, it seems like nonsense to me. And of course, I would never project that onto you or anyone else. This is where I am in my journey, in my learning, in my life, in my evolution. And this is for me. But I'm sharing it with you because I feel like it's important for you to see through another human who is a humble woman of 60, almost 61 years old, that we can change to not only change the way we think, but change completely who we are, if we are so inclined. And I will pepper that with if our soul decides that, because I don't believe we can do it with our mind. So anyway, that was just illustrating that connection where I am told and advised to trust my body and what my body knows and let my mind catch up. So my mind now agrees. So there's that. All right. And this chapter does have a lot to do with the body, so I wanted to preface that as well. So I'm going to read and then I'm going to sign off. I may not sign off. It just depends on how I feel. But I want whatever you hear through this chapter to land with you however it lands. I don't want to color it with my translation, if that's okay. So this is chapter 6 in the book Earth by Barbara Marciniak. And the chapter title is Landing of the Light Body. You think you are flesh and bone when in actuality you are a combination of intelligent electromagnetic signals. The evolution that you are now going through involves the process of building and integrating a light body. Your light body must be tempered, exercised, and stretched to gently bring into its own awareness. Clarity concerning who you intend to be in your reality is one of the prime keys in building your light body. Your light body knows that it creates through thought. and links you to the fabric of creation through your light body, timelines open, accessing multi-layered dramas, and your challenges gather force as you face a seemingly uncharted yet familiar territory. You are connected to all of existence, and your evolutionary leap is to make sense of this new awareness and put it to use in your now. Rest assured, dear friends, that a higher order and purpose exists. Your task is to translate your purpose into your body and onto Earth. This purpose activates a reordering on many layers of existence, all sharing the same now. Pivotal to exploring various aspects of reality is the essential component of you taking a deeper look at your vehicle, your physical body. Your light body holds the essence of your multidimensional identity, which is accessible to you through your desire to unite with the greater identity you sense you have. Your light body will be able to juggle realities through the shifting of your consciousness and your conscious intent from one view to another, like turning the channels of a television. Your light body holds encoded data. It translates body communications from worlds and realities through your physical body to you. Your task is to notice the subtleties and synchronicities that signal you. To understand yourself, envision a multi-layered being, each part having a distinct body that breathes and is connected to the others. You are a physical, mental, emotional, spiritual being, connected by a body of light that radiates energy and links you to an infinite progression of light beings. Matter is simply light that is trapped. As you build your light body, a reorganization of your molecular structure occurs, loosening your grip upon materialism in order that a spiritual understanding may guide your day-to-day life. It is only through spirit that you can gain any understanding of what is happening to your world. The building of your light body allows less trapped matter to combine as light and become you. This offers you freer expression and allows you to seek your source. You will literally see changes in your body. It will become more vital, more beautiful, stronger, and more capable of performing events. It will become the processor of multitudes of information. You must be able to operate with a higher electrical current inside your body. This will eventually bring about solutions to all of the mounting challenges you face. Increased energy inside yourself will activate hidden talents and trigger a renaissance of psychic abilities, clairvoyance, clairaudience, telepathy, and perceptual awareness that involves knowing, quote unquote, far beyond what you can currently consider. When the electrical current is fused with your body, a bypass is created around the traditional structures that mold you to communicate and exchange data only within limited patterns. You are going to climb a ladder and experience a different view from which to interpret reality. In the next number of years, everyone, including children, babies, and elderly people, will be affected by this electrical current. One of the benefits of this is that it can bring about a rejuvenation of your physical body by assisting you to heal any separations you continue to carry. The more you grasp and live the concept of creating life through thought, the freer you become. For the stress of powerless living is eliminated. Hold your vision and allow your light body to add a meaningful purpose to all that you do. To prepare for this energy, sit quietly, close your eyes, picture your body filled with light, and imagine the light flashing and cleaning your cells. Then ask all parts of your body to work together in their idealized forms. If your body works together inside yourself, then it is much easier for you as an individual to work with others outside yourself. Those who are sick inside often don't work well outside. Attend to the inner mechanisms of your body, visualizing what you want. Your physical body exists as a frequency device. You think you are flesh and bone when in actuality you are a combination of intelligent electromagnetic signals. You translate these signals as meaningful life through a physical body by eating, experiencing, using your senses, having sex, all those kinds of things. This is how you interpret the meaning of your electromagnetic signals, which are actually experienced by you as impulses. From outside your system, you can be viewed in numerous ways. Some beings interpret you solely as a frequency. a collection of intelligence emitting data and certain frequencies based on emotions. Others use the physical/emotional frequencies you emit for many things. Much as the frequency of gold is used to transform your consciousness, and that of water to wash yourself or quench your thirst, the frequency of humans has untold purposes, as you are now discovering. As previously mentioned, within your body lies a force of power called Kundalini, a serpent-like energy that dwells at the base of your spine. Acknowledging and calling this force forward facilitates the merging and bundling of your light body. This force also helps maintain your stability and groundedness with the increased electromagnetic shifts. Traditionally, Kundalini uncoils itself and electrifies your body at around 40 years of age. By this time, you are considered mature enough to house this kind of power. For most people, the power is so profound that they go downhill from there and begin to age, rather than rejuvenate and put the great creative electrical force to use. When you have a Kundalini experience, it may feel like an intense concentration of energy in the sacrum area at the base of your spine. Sometimes when people experience Kundalini, they feel as if they want to have sex because they don't know what to do with all that rising energy. The whole planet is locked into using its Kundalini to reproduce. People fornicate like mad without ever understanding that Kundalini can move through the body and up into and around the head. If you allow it to do this, it will provide a new interpretation of yourself. You will understand that all of your creations, healings, manifestations, everything come from the natural goddess source inside yourself. Humankind has a resistance to changing, growing, and finding new data. Much of that resistance, of course, is not natural. It has been programmed in to make you afraid to consider something new, to reach out and disobey the gods, or to become their equals. When humankind seeks knowledge, humankind becomes informed and becomes closer to what would be called the goddess. You keep recreating the past by recalling it in nostalgic detail and anchoring it into the present. The cells of your body are quite free to come and go. They replicate themselves continuously. Where do they get their instructions from? They are provided by your blueprint and belief system and by the energy patterns that you carry about reality. As you change those patterns by expanding your concepts, your molecular structure will follow. Each of you has the potential to have the body you want. You can regenerate the cells of your body by remapping them, sending them a different plan or alternative route. As you do this, your body and experience will follow suit. Each of you has a natural vitality in your body. You have been influenced by people whom you respect and whom you believe are legitimate into accepting fearful and negative ideas. Perhaps one individual had a bad experience, and they interpret it and create image making for all others. It used to be that you would have to learn many disciplines and prepare your body for years before you could successfully experience Kundalini energy. It was indeed the rare individual who was able to access Kundalini for a number of reasons. Earth was surrounded by a fence of frequency control. As Kundalini rises in the body, it meets the cosmic forces that come from outside the body, and the body becomes alive and energized. It is just like pulling a pillar of light into the body. Those who keep you from knowledge have had their boundaries penetrated, and the frequency control fence around the planet is like Swiss cheese. In other words, there are holes and other forms of light can now come in. As cosmic energy comes onto the earth plane, there are millions of you who are now increasing the opportunities to reinterpret what Kundalini can do. It is the force of your lives, and you pulse with it. Used accordingly, it is going to bring a tremendous number of solutions. This energy connects you to a cosmic source and unifies you with a greater purpose and understanding of what you can do with it. This energy may be utilized to heal, for when it builds up in your hands, you have the hands of a healer. Many of you would be surprised if you peeked a few years into your own futures and saw the so-called unexpected, including what you will be able to do with the energy coming out of your hands. There are individuals now who are able to hold their hands together and make a piece of paper catch on fire. This energy in the hands is going to amplify in each of your lives. You may use it to purify food, heal, clean the oceans, and deep pollute the rivers and land. You will be able to transmute the toxic pollution that is everywhere around your planet. The ability to do these things will be had by those who are willing to believe. As you believe and practice and search, you will be rewarded. Then you will show others. These are gifts that will make a difference in the shift towards mass cooperation on a planetary scale. Therefore, you are going to work on these abilities as a collective. The unhealed and the sick can also learn to activate this energy in themselves and direct it in their own bodies. The essence of what everyone must manufacture is the value of self. Hey, if my body manifested sickness, it can manifest wellness as well. Whose limitation and whose decree of illness am I going to accept? You have stored within you an abundance of magnificent knowledge. You are the key to the living library, and you are what everyone is after to some extent. It is a very interesting process that humans are involved with. Using your imagination, you can send a message to your brain and intend that the neurons connected to the area of imagination become more finely united. However, your toes have the same ability to carry the signal of imaging as your brain. Because every cell in your body is composed of exactly the same substances, no matter where it is located. Each cell has the same potential to produce knowledge, and your cells are waiting for you to direct them. When you allow society, family, and education to direct your beliefs, and you let guilt and shoulds, quote unquote, permeate your field, these are the programs to which your body responds. Your planet is going to survive its transmutational process as you recognize the power of imagination, which is tied very closely to memory. Imagination acts as a movie screen in your mind that holds images and creates blueprints of consciousness. Your body is filled with memories of different worlds, as well as different time frames from the now you perceive. As Earth evolves, you will become capable of pulling up these concepts and blueprints and finding the teachings in their purpose, as well as their significance to your now. Based on what you know, bringing memories of other times and places into your current reality unifies the significance of your life. It creates a healing by helping you understand the purpose of self-inflicted wounds. One of the most important keys we can give you is this: love yourself. Honor the vehicle that you occupy and act as if you are priceless. Act as if you lucked out and received the best thing possible, your body. Honor Earth as well, with love and respect, for it is here on Earth that you stage your fanciful dreams and dramas. Love yourself and Earth on your ride through the universe, and your journey will be lighter. Your body is going to demonstrate absolutely miraculous abilities. Your sensitivities will develop to such a degree that smells and scents will have greater impact on your moods, emotions, and general sense of well-being. You will say, I found that when I sprinkle this herb on my food, or when I have this smell in my house, I have more energy. And when I use this one, I am quieter. Learn how to use the plants around you that are gifts from the living library. A tremendous and radical change is taking place within your physical body, and we cannot emphasize this enough. You are each guided, so to avoid burnout, listen to what's inside you. Too much new information too quickly, without you taking the time to slow down and integrate it, can lead to overload for your adjusting psyche. When you drive a car, you don't always drive it fast. You speed up, you put the brakes on, you stop at lights, you turn, and you move at different paces. It is the same thing with energy. There are points of acceleration and points of slowdown. This way, the body builds slowly. Imagine you are a hairdryer and you spent a large majority of your time with your cord wrapped up in a little bag on the shelf. Then came the peak experience in your life. You were plugged in and used every day. If you were the hairdryer, you would feel you were no longer alone. You would say, something has happened to my identity here. Wow, I'm on. As a human being, you are similar. You get plugged in and suddenly something happens. So you must incorporate what happens. We liken the energy that runs through you to the electrical current that runs through the hairdryer, making it more than simply an object, making it a useful object. This is a very simple example, and it gives you an image of yourself. You can be switched on so the current of life takes you to your purpose. It is essential that you understand your body and that you are not ashamed of what your body does. What you do with your body is another story, however. There is a grand dignity to the physical form. Be generous in your body grace. If you are uncomfortable with what you are saying, Then examine how much you love yourself and where dislike and shame of your physical body comes from. There is nothing wrong with the body. The modern concept of the Barbie doll as a perfected female form contributes to the hatred of the female body if the body does not conform to that mold. All images, from the simplest toys to the most complex computer images, affect your perceptions about yourself. Often, women who conform to the Barbie doll mold have to force and restrict themselves to duplicate the desired and approved shape, reducing their freedom of choice. The human body has all shapes and sizes and all kinds of expression. You can tell that variety is important on the planet by looking at the variety of faces. If you were all meant to be molded into one kind, there would only be a limited number of faces that would be available as model types. For eons, you as human being forgot who you were. You took on shame about your body and your body's functions. There has been little encouragement for you to acknowledge the very functions of your body. We often compare the use of your body to having a car, about which someone says, "Don't ever use the trunk. It's really a bad place. Don't open that trunk. Don't use it. Don't put anything in it. It is there, but don't touch it." Do you see the analogy? It is ridiculous. Sex in 3D can provide the energy through which you can emerge to higher consciousness. It can lead to an essential part of your multidimensional development. Sometimes it is difficult to hear about sex because you hold on to judgment of traumatic events that you are ashamed of or that you feel bad about that surround your sexuality. Everyone has something stored away concerning the sexual part of themselves. To a large degree, there has been a plan to influence you to feel shame about sexuality and your body. This has kept you from discovering your power, purpose, bliss, and freedom. As your body takes on and integrates the new energy, memory will be awakened in you. Cosmic memories, as well as memories of this lifetime, offer an unfolding of who you have been in a galactic history. It is important for you to have room to remember. Some of you think, "Oh, well, I'll put some music on in the car and I'll drive someplace and practice remembering." Leave a space for memory to come into. Utilizing nature is one of the best ways to get in touch with remembering. Sitting out in nature, watching nature, being in idleness, being in the now and letting the now expand into the ongoing, spontaneous, synchronistic moment, the ever-expanding now. Nature teaches you through the calling of birds, the beat of butterfly wings, the symphony of crickets and frogs, the camel's bray, and the smell of desert dust and fresh spring rain. All of these things trigger memories if you take the time to let the sounds and smells penetrate your physical being. Activating memory involves disengaging yourself from all the shoulds you have piled up for yourself. Are you busy running nowhere? Do you truly lead the most meaningful life that you can? Do you wait the approval of others? Forever a shadow of the power of radiating your truth. Please do not hide from yourself or others. Live, and that's with an exclamation point. Why are we telling you all of this? We are intending to activate cellular memory inside of you. Before you came into the body, certain memories are made available and stored genetically within you. One day you will figure out how this is done and understand that you are worked on when you sleep. Forgive me. Often you feel these rushes or zoomings of electrical pulsation through your body. These are memory inserts being put in you to prepare you for your next adventure. Please understand that there is little difference between a memory insert experience and an actual life experience, because reality is very constructible. Reality is not designed to be gone. Realities and cultures can be recreated over and over again. If you are a newly born soul and feel that you have missed out on the juicy happenings in the universe, you can have memory inserts. You can create places in yourself within cultures without overpopulating them. For example, everyone wants to have been Egyptian or Maya, and there has only been room for so many. Yet you all have memories constructed of those cultures. You can become a part of them because the memory constructed for you. You can build another Mayan culture on top of the other one. This concept gives you a clue about the flexibility of your reality. Memory is like a pool or a mirror inside your body, and it needs to be replenished and refreshed with the reflecting ability of water. Water is what enhances memory in the physical body. Kundalini fires the codes, activating the light-encoded filaments and bringing them into light. These tiny fibers are filled with information, and Kundalini moving through your body gives you the opportunity to own your memories. Many of you are experiencing deep memories of manipulation, perhaps painful recollections of being eaten by reptiles or mating with reptiles or genetic experimentation. Even if you did not experience a specific thing, in your blood, you have filaments that carry the entire history of all things. How to get those filaments to hook up to give you a viable movie is another story. You know what movie films look like. It is made up of little squares or frames. You are like a big movie, cut and separated frame by frame, so that each part of you is disconnected from all the others. As we work with you, the energy that we bring to you reorganizes those tiny clips of film. This brings a story together inside of you that is personal, planetary, and galactic. All of you are here to look into the dark, because in the dark you will find both the light and the reason the light is returning. You cannot simply go toward the light and say, hey, darkness is bad, it is negative, I don't want to see. Be open to what you do not want to see. Keep your heart open and trust that the pain you may experience needs to be explored so that it can be released after being processed on a memory level. You are at a time when memories are floating to the surface, coming from deep recesses. These memories can bring emotional responses. Whatever you see needs to be looked at. It is you. Accept it and say, aha, based on what I know and on the preparation of my consciousness, I can look at this and see that it was a misuse of my energy, that it's all right. I will transmute it. It will turn into something of joy. Do you know how many people are willing to look at the negative and the dark? Not too many. Do you know how many people are living in the dark? Do not run from the shadow of your life, for there is much healing to be completed once the pain of the darker side of life is felt, realized, and understood. Emotions are the sum total of your wealth as a human. Emotions trigger the inner pharmacopoeia, your body's personal drugstore. In the drugstore of your body, you are the pharmacist. You write the prescription according to your emotional response or reaction to events. Your emotions create a corresponding chemical release inside your physical form. The endocrine system, which is responsible for the chemical responses to your emotional choices, will evolve. New chemicals will be produced inside your body that will help you change. Choosing a different way of receiving or translating reality will trigger inner doorways to open and produce substances that will take you into the higher realms. You are being reorganized on a subatomic level. Within your body, the light-encoded filaments, fine thread-like fibers, are subtle forms of energy that connect everything together. These gossamer threads are reorganized in your body through stimulation by rays and photons that come to the planet bringing cosmic energy. They are reorganized to rejuvenate your body when you drink pure, clean water. They are particularly activated through the process of oxygenation and deep breathing. There are also ways of oxygenating yourself by ingesting herbs known as blood purifiers. When you purify your blood, it is able to carry a greater amount of oxygen. The reorganization of fibers on a cellular level builds and grows, and the fibers invigorate your body in a variety of ways. All this involves activating your brain. You have the keys and the codes to open up the rest of that dormant area. The plan of intention is for human beings, based on the increase of light, to evolve into multidimensional beings. Some people are operating on 6 to 8% of their brain capacity. Someone who is using more of their brain, an Einstein, for example, is using at best 15 to 20%. Ask yourself these questions. What is the other 80% of my brain doing? Why is it dormant? What is not hooked up? The endocrine system will evolve as DNA evolves, producing chemical substances that are combinations of intelligent geometric shapes. These shapes will exist all over the body and will not be localized simply in the brain. Everything will happen simultaneously. The endocrine system can secrete psychedelic-like chemical substances that catapult you into new forms of intelligence. You have a conflict in your society about how you view drugs. Anything having to do with mind expansion has been promoted as very bad and fearful. Yet at the same time, a good portion of the world is addicted to prescription drugs that keep people sedated. In your society, prescribed drugs that suppress the natural chemical process are fine. while drugs that activate the mind and open other realities are bad. Major control is in effect concerning your ideas about what you can and cannot take into your body. Take a look at this. Your endocrine system is going to go through a massive upheaval. It is in the early stages of this at this time. Think of a small grocery store, one that is old and decrepit and has had the same brands of food on the shelves for 20 years. The store is outdated and is not suiting modern habits, taste, and desires. Someone comes in and says, "Hey, this supermarket's too old. I'm going to soup it up to meet the needs of society. I'm going to change the products that this supermarket carries." Supermarkets serve certain needs, and as the needs and taste of human beings change, the food on the shelves of the supermarket must meet the new taste qualities and requirements. Your endocrine system is doing the same thing. What is making the endocrine system decide to serve new food? You are. You loving yourself, pulling the pillar of light into your body, and reorganizing the basic genetic structure of who you are. As the strands of DNA begin to discover their identities and come alive, they will change the endocrine system. Your decision to be in the moment, to love yourself, and to work with love on the planet with yourself and all people will completely change what happens inside you. This is a key to the rejuvenation, most definitely. Be willing to experience yourself, your life, and your body as your own creations. The accelerated energy will create havoc on your planet, leading to a great deal of confusion coupled with radical, revolutionary, overnight change. Never in your recorded history has there been as much energy on the planet, and has there been this kind of consciousness that there is now. So you have nothing to prepare you for what is coming. Nothing. The radical change that these movements will bring about is beyond your conception. Focus on the best that you can be, knowing that you will affect many probabilities around you. Know that for yourself, this will be the opportunity to activate a major change. Your pineal gland is being activated through the infusion of light energies, releasing a new version of possibilities in which peace and freedom are felt and recognized from inside. Your thymus gland is pivotal in sending the signal to your body to hold the pattern of rejuvenation. Your thymus gland shrinks the older you get. It shrivels up. It is like the gatekeeper at the base of your neck that regulates what comes from above and what comes from below. Your upper glands, the pituitary and pineal, as cranial temples are inactivated. They are basically dormant. Your thymus gland does not continuously remind your body as its idealized blueprint because it is not getting the messages to do so from the temples in your head. This is because your temples have been disconnected from the full strands of DNA. Your thymus gland will return to its own vitality when it receives the message that your body has done its preparation and that your consciousness is ready. If you think in terms of life expansion, some of you have barely begun the work. Others have had training that is going to implode you into the next shift. Your work is to gift the planet, a gift to civilization. If you are beating up on yourself or feeding yourself negative ideas, then you need to examine your dual loyalties. To be here in this moment says to us that you have an interest and excitement and a loyalty to transcend the ideas that human species has been fed. If you are fighting this, looking in the mirror and saying, "Oh, look how I look, bad news," then you have a duality, a doubt, a conflict. If you have such a conflict, then the more the energy builds, the more you will feel like a rubber band being pulled out and snapped back, over and over again. So if you are feeling like a rubber band being snapped, then the corresponding avenue to look in would be the inconsistency of your beliefs as you are expressing them, silently or out loud. Your hypothalamus regulates the temperature and water in your body. You are water, you understand, electrified water. The elements and balance of ocean water match the blood in your human body. Humans were made from the ocean. This is one of the greatest secrets of creation. The Pleiadian gods came and used the energy of the hydrogen and oxygen molecules. It is from this that you sprang. This is the basic key. The firmament was created, and from the firmament came life. This is one of the principles through which you are constructed. We want you to understand that there are many ways to construct humans. You have heard stories that you are made up of dust and clay. Some of these stories are not true. They are told to keep you away from the truth. It makes more sense to you that you are closer to the solid elements than those of water. Remember, we said that very often things are switched around so that you do not discover the truth of your identity. Your hypothalamus can be thought of as the gatekeeper between your physical body and your outer chakras. Its time has not come. In your present stage of evolution, you cannot comprehend its function. Yes, it does regulate body temperature and the flow of water, and water is the essence of your life. We always encourage you to be around water, to be in water, and to use water because water enhances the function of your hypothalamus gland. It keeps it lukewarm for when it needs to get heated up. The time will come to further explore the hypothalamus. There are ways through craniosacral adjustment to stimulate the hypothalamus. These will be discovered and shared when people have raised their consciousness to the degree that they are prepared for the great sunburst of energy that will come from this gland. Until that time, the information will be dangerous. People sometimes cannot moderate themselves, and they think they must drink the elixir of all experiences without making the necessary preparations of consciousness. You will never be the same once your hypothalamus secretions start. Have you ever ingested a psychedelic? How would you like to live balancing that reality 24/7? It wouldn't work. It would be entirely too confusing. It is fine for what is called a trip. It is fine for a journey into learning, into the shamanic, mysterious, living library realms. However, it certainly is not something you want to have for breakfast every day. The rest of the nervous system is not in sync with that awareness. When you take what is called a trip, it is exactly that, like going to the country or to the shore for the weekend. You go, you experience it, and then you come back and contemplate it. Your hypothalamus is going to move you to a new shoreline of your being, a new domain that will be chemically induced. This is what the endocrine system does. It introduces various chemicals into your body without you taking anything, without you ingesting any substances at all. The chemicals will simply begin to secrete themselves and influence the very way that you perceive and interpret reality. Your restored hypothalamus will take you on a journey, and you will change everything so that you will be happy to dwell there. You will not want to dwell in the old place. It will be as if you moved to a new land, or as if you moved to a new planet without leaving Earth. It will be a splitting of your world. Earth and Earth's reality in the living library will change before your eyes because the chemicals that will be secreted from the hypothalamus will give you a new interpretation of reality. This you are not prepared for yet, not anywhere near it. First, you must conceive yourself that you are loved and that you are the resource of love. You must maintain a consistent feeling of this before you can begin the subtle changes in your endocrine system that will prepare you for the awakening of your hypothalamus. If all things take place collectively, when can the family of light look forward to the awakening of the hypothalamus? We suggest that this will happen in increments between 1999 and 2009, a 10-year period. With all the fuss about the healthcare system in your United States, we remind you that health is free. The true cost of healthcare is a few moments of your time to develop the right attitude about your body. You create your health of your dis-ease, and you don't need anyone to tell you whether you are healthy. First of all, when you are in touch with your body, when you take a shower or wash, you can feel and know your level of well-being. You know if you are in a state of health or not. You may choose to worry and distrust your body. If you worry about your health and then you will create something, your body follows the images you instigate. If you must invest in worry about what you might catch, or how cancer might be growing, or whether you have AIDS, or diphtheria, or tuberculosis, or whatever you wish to worry about, probabilities are that if you don't already have something, you will create it and go from there. If you know you are healthy, you are. It's that simple. Fear is the killer. We remind you that your power ends where your fear begins. If you fear something, it is as if you put a sign over your head and say, "Welcome. I am waiting for you." The purpose of fear is to save your life, to catapult you into the now in order to take action. Often it serves to direct you away from that which is dangerous and towards its very essence of your vital being. Toward the very essence of your vital being. However, when you hold on to fear as a lifestyle, and when you broadcast fear of life, you shut down your body and kill your vital life force. This creates stress, ill health, and aging. Your thoughts create your reality. Part of the initiation of consciousness is to move through toxicity, and your physical body needs to go through more preparation and purification of what would be called intent and courage. When you dwell in fear, you dispel all. You dispel your own power. So, in order to meet something that is very unfamiliar to your logical mind, you must maintain clarity of intent and a tremendous sense of courage, safety, and nonchalance. Everything that keeps you from achieving something is simply an idea. Over the next 20 years, the period everyone is buying the tickets for, front row seats here in Earth's amphitheater, many changes will take place. Do you remember going to a carnival where you were a child and going on those rides for the first time? Did you beg your mother and father on your big brother or sister to take you on the rides that seemed adventurous and so gigantic? Earth is going to seem like a huge carnival. You are all going to get on some big rides that you cannot conceive of, so you have some clearing and intending to do. The large majority of you will do just fine. You will emote your way through it. Watch your whining. It is a waste of energy. Accept all that you create and know that there is opportunity in all things. From our point of view, it completely boggles us that you would invest in fear around that which is opportunity. On some level, we know who you are and what you went through to get here. We know why you are here on Earth and that you were not sent here to flounder alone. The forces that work with you have a capacity to influence and affect your reality that is beyond your comprehension, even though you are not aware of the existence of these forces. You do not understand how their fingers move to nudge this person or that person. Go here, do this, oh, don't do that. Events are being set up. Understand that there is a deep seeding of cancerous ideas and thoughts on the planet, just as there is a deep seeding and encouragement of the idea of AIDS. People find these things and are attached to them. Right now, people are afraid of the sun. They are afraid to go outside, as if there is a mistake in nature. The people who buy into this will find that their fear will act far more quickly than any rays of the sun would do in damaging them. Fear is the killer. It is the idea that takes hold, like Paul Revere crying out and riding through the streets of early America. When fear runs through your body, it reminds the chemicals that go with it to come out and fill your body. They activate a downward spiral and an idea of death. It is basically that simple. You have heard of AIDS, and that is caused by the HIV virus. However, now there is AIDS when there is no HIV present. AIDS is now being spread electromagnetically, in the same way that many disturbances can be spread electromagnetically. Remember, the electromagnetism involves the great currents of electricity that are all around you, generated by humanity and other sources. Magnetism, of course, is the force that holds things together. You have magnetic particles inside your brain as well. You can use this idea to help other people open their hearts. AIDS is spread electromagnetically, drawing itself from one carrier to another with a similar pattern or vibration. I think like you do. Send your thoughts to me. Do you follow this? I have those same fear beliefs. I am confused about who I think I am. I am not worth it. I have no power over my body. That kind of thinking is so magnified, it is as if you carry around signs, posters, and bumper stickers over your aura, proclaiming that you think I'm sorry, excuse me. You carry it over your auric field, proclaiming who you think you are. Viruses can spread electromagnetically so that eventually you may have entire metropolitan areas infused. Why? You are drawn to live in a certain town or place because of the karma and vibration of the rest of the people. It is why many of you are being impulsed to relocate and move. The same principle holds true for the heart. If AIDS can be spread electromagnetically, so can the opening of the heart and the goddess. We want you to understand that there are always many, many plans in motion. People say, why do bad, negative, lower vibrational plans have to be in motion? Because people wait for them. People don't sit around waiting for something exciting and good to happen to them. They sit around rocking in their chairs, smoking cigarettes, wondering when a car is going to come through the living room. Why? Because they watch television. Your main imprinting comes through this mind control machine, which imprints you basically with fear. Chronic fear is going to be the killer. It will draw to the things that they dread, that you are certain are going to happen. All of the possibilities in the world. Why do you choose what you do? The more compassion you have for others, the quicker mass consciousness will change. We are asking all of you to play this heart game much more often than just when you have spare time. Make a commitment to have your heart open and to see that it stays open and that you use the heart energy of the Mother Goddess. This will make all the difference because it is not just your heart that is involved. It is the heart of the Goddess. However, the Goddess needs your heart open to have her energy move through you. Today, there are very few geographical locations on your planet that broadcast the love frequency. That is about to change, of course. Earth, as you well know, is going through some challenges, to put it mildly. However, if you think this is intense, hold on. You are in for a grand ride. In a very short period of time, there will be a catapulting of energies on a global scale that will take you farther and farther toward what will look like the destruction of your planet. We want you to know this. We want you to understand that sometimes when energy evolves, even when you yourself go through evolutionary processes, there is a disorientation, a chaos, a confusion, and a lack of identity. Toxicity may come out of the body that makes you sick. You may have dancing of the bowels or an upset stomach or a closing down of the bowels. Many different things indicate changes at hand. You can liken Earth to a gigantic mirror for what is transpiring inside human beings. Earth at this time is reeking in toxicity. She held it off for so long. For many, many years, Earth was filled with toxicity not only from radioactive waste of all kinds of garbage, but also from the collective dumping of human anger. Humans are creatures of energy, and your emotions create a collective force that is broadcast. You not only broadcast chaos and fear, which is basically what your collective lives have been about for so long, but you also broadcast anger. The anger is about what you know you are being denied deep down inside. There are almost 6 billion of you on the verge of dumping your anger onto the planet. What do you imagine that does? It creates a stirring and mirroring of the planet's own anger from the lack of care and the lack of love. All of this is being spewed forward now. So in the long run, you are going through a clearing. You are all coming to a new realization. You are being pushed as a people and as a planet to your limits. You are going to be forced to define new boundaries about what you will and will not stand for. No one is going to sit home like a couch potato and miss this one. You all must participate. If you don't, more than likely you will vanish in one form or another. We remind you that you create your own reality and that to the collective anger you feel has to do, forgive me, let me do that again. We remind you that you create your own reality and that the collective anger you feel has to do with the discrediting of your imagination. Feel that for a few moments. Imagination is a key to brilliance, to unifying conceptualizations, and to bringing ideas into manifestation. When was the last time you were encouraged on a regular basis to invest in your own imagination? You rob yourselves of the inherent qualities through which you can save yourselves, change yourselves, and redefine freedom. Imagination is, indeed, a ticket to a ride on the mercurial carnival of Earth. Earth is inhabited by a multitude of intelligent forces, not by humans alone at this time. There are dimensional locks that keep various life forms separated and segregated. With that collapse of time, humans are being impulsed to activate Earth's grid. When you are infused with cosmic light energy, it alters your nervous system, which is like a highway for energy impulses to travel to your brain. Like road construction, your nervous system is being rebuilt, widened, and strengthened to accommodate an increase of data. Like traffic moving through your body. When you face an experience that is out of the norm, that does not fit into the category of the known, your nervous system tends to shut down. Your body goes into shock, unable to process the out of ordinary reality. As energy increases on the planet, blocks in your physical, mental, and emotional and spiritual bodies are magnified. Unexpressed feelings and ideas create obstacles to the flow of energy, whose purpose is to connect you. You must help the process by being responsible for who you are. Wherever you have a prejudice or difficulty, I don't want to know that. I hate this about myself. I don't like that. You can trust that the magnifying glass will be put over it. You will squeal and squirm until you get it right. And if you don't, you will manifest the block in the form of a difficult challenge. Everything is intensifying in order to teach people about responsibility and maintaining a clarity of purpose and intent. Utilizing different modalities of bodywork in this day and age is key to your survival. Pursuing avenues of discovery through bodywork facilitates and quickens the reorganization of your identity. As more of who you are unfolds, the dramas that have trapped you can be more deeply understood. The dramas are released from cellular holding patterns that faithfully steer you into the very situations that are left unresolved and unforgiven. Actually, you invite all the players in your life, and you, as director, cast the parts and run the show. If you are now finally tired of your script, remember, you write it. Blame and victimhood are the ultimate traps to ensure a state of disempowerment. Remember, you have dramas that are ancient God dramas that influence you now. All of reality is connected and is seeking a healing of union. There is great humor in highly evolved energies, especially those who work with the love frequency. It can be recognized as a trademark. With energies you encounter, make certain there is an expansive sense of humor, for laughter is a key to freedom. There is plenty of room for joy in all existence, and this is a concept you are seeking to grasp. We encourage you to operate out of your feelings center, your solar plexus or gut. You have the same capacity and activity inside your stomach lining as you do in your brain. Reconsider yourself. You can instantly see that you alter your experience when you believe in a find opportunity in every event you create. We remind you that opportunity is often disguised as loss. The solar plexus area is where you hold power in your body and where you extend your power out to the world. It is also where you perceive the world. This is the feeling center. This is where you get your threads of data. For through the solar plexus you feel your way through events that make no sense to your logical mind. Step back and take a look. Reroute your decision-making process, taking a detour into your body. Notice how you feel and acknowledge your body's innate wisdom speaking to you as a loving advisor. If only you would listen. Your body wants to work with you. Often it is you and your thoughts that work against your body. Your logical mind, remember, has been trained by those who want you to perform in a very limited paradigm and in certain limited frequency. We want you to accept the idea that you are very significant. There is a great value in who you are, in what you intend, and in what you allow yourself to experience. We would like you to feel a tremendous upliftment and sense of personal value for your ability to weave multiple realities of consciousness together and leap into territory that many would not support. We give you a gold star for daring to be foolhardy, because you are playfully freeing the bondage of human perception as you explore the seasons of yourself. There are many teachers who will show you in which slices of time you have flourished and developed, and where you have affected an interconnected reality, and that those times and places have to do with now. One day you will understand that those other times are now. Everything occurs in the now. This very moment of existence where you are is truly the ongoing, spontaneous, significant moment. It is over and over again where you can find yourself. Be aware of receiving simultaneous information from other civilizations. Notice it and find what you can synchronistically tie together. Often you are impulsed with a knowing, yet even though this commonly occurs, it takes you a while to convince yourself that you do indeed know. There are adjustment periods. Be patient and you can go anywhere you choose. Be clear on what you intend and then let it go. The dolphins do not keep secrets from one another. They willingly share the accumulation of knowledge they have. You can tell the evolution of individuals by how willing they are to share what they know. The more you share what you know, the more you are filled. The more you hold on to and grip the wisdom you have been given, the more quickly it will run through your hands and you will lose it. Open your hands and your wisdom will fly off like a butterfly. Then new butterflies will land. All life has chakra systems. A town has roads, cars driving through it, and refueling places that store energy. It is the same with the chakra systems. They are energetic storehouses around and inside of life forms. The chakras connect the internal workings, the psychological third dimensional operations. The physiological third dimensional operations with the multidimensional etheric layered goings on. They bring energy from the non physical realms into the physical, if utilized properly. All forms of life have these energy portals as doorways and places where they can be refueled. What each form of life does with its refueling is within the blueprint or the DNA of the form of life itself. As your DNA is being reordered into a new expression of itself, the frequency or identity that you carry is speaking something on a non-physical level. Every place you go, you carry the mutating energy that announces itself. Your consciousness announces itself to all life forms. Maybe those who are next to you in a shopping mall or restaurant are not quite aware of on a conscious level of who you are. However, when you take a walk in the woods and fields or go into the oceans, you will see other life forms around you that are much more aware of who you are. They change their response, and their DNA changes because yours is changing. Through you, all of nature becomes more available as a living library. From your perspective, there are very few people who have lived thousands of years. Yet the creator gods are able to extend the longevity of the cellular body. Life extension and the rejuvenation of cellular life are coming back into fashion. This is a part of building the light body, a body that is not so dense, so that it does not self-destruct, a body that is self-generating and self-replenishes. That is what you are striving for. You would be there if you would feel it. Excuse me, let me do that again. You would be there and you would feel it if your logical mind were not so worried about whether it is possible. We cannot emphasize to you enough that you must stop listening to society and to official versions of reality. This involves choice, not disrespect. This is going to be the hardest task for you and the biggest break to make, to cross the bridge between your societal self and your spiritual self. Which one is going to become sacred? Which one is going to be your source of authority? The sooner you make that leap, the more you will enjoy yourself. Allow your intuitive self to be the standard bearer of your experience, an experience that no one else is going to validate, an experience that brings from the assignment that you are knowing and not necessarily remembering. You are on. There is an energy exercise that comes up next that is pretty lengthy. I'm going to read it. It is the last part of this. So if you have had enough and you want to disconnect, please feel free, and I appreciate you listening. I feel this is very important, so I thank you for bearing through my reading that. I am going to read the energy exercise, which is something I've incorporating into my wellness as well. So I'm going to read the exercise and then sign off. So thank you again if you leave me now, and if you stay, please stay. Thank you. Put yourself in a comfort and become very still. Send a message to your body to relax, release, and let go. Take a deep, deep breath. Once you have exhaled, feel a wave of serenity moving over your body. Continue to consciously breathe, finding your own rhythm. Feel your chest expand and open. Feel your heart area get warmer. Relax your throat. Let your mind be clear and your vision centered. Track your breathing for a few moments. Imagine a pillar of light touching the top of your head, then entering your body. Breathe deeply in and out, following your breath, making yourself as light, calm, and peaceful as you can. Once you are in this serene place, focus your energy on your third eye and picture your world, Earth. Whatever you imagine is fine. As you hold the picture of the globe in your mind's eye, feel the existence of an individual blueprint and purpose for all of Earth's inhabitants. You may see these blueprints as sparks of light and geometric shapes. Feel the uniqueness and multitude of lessons that are necessary for consciousness to evolve. Not only is the consciousness of each individual being stretched, the collective consciousness of the globe is connecting in a unique way. Feel the contribution that each individual makes to the global plan, and from your now, send out a wave of intent, inspiring love and trust of the human form. Now, as if your consciousness were a magnet drawing to itself all life consciousness, feel yourself rising out of your own blueprint, like a golden ball of light. Let your blueprint begin to rotate around the grid of Earth, looking for the other blueprints that are keyed to work with yours, whose ultimate plan is to activate a new global blueprint for humankind. Feel this global search. Let yourself, as the golden sphere of light, rotate around and around the planet, going from one place to another. Let it grow in size as it attracts like consciousness to it, forming a blanket of light and triggering an intertwining energy grid designed to be awakened by intersecting consciousness. Feel your golden ball of light being drawn to different locations around the globe. See yourself there and see your presence altering, opening, and expanding wherever you are. Imagine 6 billion people connected to that global blueprint from inside their bodies. They know that the coming change is an opportunity to live more joyous and expanded lives in which they have the freedom to look at life from a very different perspective. Bring your consciousness back to your physical body. Visualize light running through you, infusing you, connecting you. Watch the energy flow at a rapid rate and let your body begin to pulse. Feel stronger and filled with new information, health, and vitality. Feel the pillar of light continuously with you, filling you and connecting you with your source. Keep that pillar of light always coming into your physical body. The pillar of light is your calling card in the higher realms. Thought is, you are evolving toward learning to use your thought in productive ways so that you can alter your world and create a brand new paradigm of reality. Trust yourself and listen well to what is that you are discovering. The road that appears before you may be very interesting. Remember that you always create it, and if you do not like the scenery, you can simply take a new road. Pleasant journeys. Thank you again for listening. I am going to sign off until next time.